What's up, guys? Welcome to ICAST 2021 to the new product showcase. So look, I've been here for a couple of hours and I've walked around and the amount of product is overwhelming. Tomorrow I'll hit the show floor and I'll cover rods and reels and some more specific stuff. But what I want to do now is take a few minutes and walk you through my picks for the best of the new product showcase. So I'm actually going to cover all the watercraft because you know what? I'm a kayak guy. And I'm not going to go in depth, but I'll go in depth on the floor. But just come along with me for my best of the product showcase, or the new product showcase from here at ICAST. So I got a chance to check this thing out on the new water, or on the water demo, the open water, on water demo. That's what they call it. And it's the Hobie Lynx. It's the Mirage Lynx. What's cool about this boat is it's a new concept for Hobie in that they're doing a thermoformed manufacturing process, which allows them to do some really cool stuff with the tracks being flush mounted in the boat, attaching lower profile deck padding, and playing around with some different types of seat configurations that are going to reduce the weight. And I'll tell you straight up, this rudder system, the rudder control system that's got some type of encased cable is clean, it's ergonomic, it's responsive. The way that they had it set up on the iTrack 9, which I released a video of on my Instagram page. You guys go check that out, at Kayak Bass Fishing on Instagram if you're not familiar with it. But that system is by far the most responsive and best rudder system that I've ever experimented with on a pedal drive kayak. Now, Hobie's been in the pedal drive game longer than anybody else, so you would expect them to lead the way in innovation. But this boat is great. I'm really excited about their inflatable series, the iTrack series. I got to try out the 9. I think I'll probably settle around that 12 size and bring one of those boats into my personal arsenal to get into some of the remote backcountry, backwaters, backwoods places, or places that I need to fly to. But if you want to check out a really cool product, new boat from Hobie, check out this Mirage Lynx. A lot of stuff to love about this boat, and not anything that I can see that you shouldn't. So walking on over this way, if you're familiar with my channel, then you saw a couple of promo videos that I did in this boat. So I'm obviously going to be a little bit biased about this boat, and we're not going to do a full walkthrough here, but this is the Bonafide P127. It's the culmination of a couple of years of experimentation, prototyping, since the partnership or the merger between Bonafide and Big Adventures, which is the parent company of Native. And so you're going to see some Native-esque stuff happen. It's just a matter of time. Anytime the DNA or the gene pools of two parents emerge, you're going to get the nose from one parent and the toe from another parent and the demeanor from another one. And that's what happens when you have a parent company, is you get some of the DNA from those companies spill over from one brand to the other. And you're going to see that in this boat. In the initial videos, you heard a lot of people say, or a lot of comments like, oh, that looks a lot like this boat, or that looks a lot like this boat. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, all kayaks look a lot alike. They're pointed on one end, they're square on the other end, they have a seat, they have a front, they have a back, and they have rails on them. Pretty much things that you can say, oh, you guys copied that from this brand, or you copied it from that brand. But what we should all do is embrace innovation, because when these companies compete, we as anglers win, because competition breeds innovation. Innovation leads to even more competition that keeps prices low, features high. And then what happens is, as boats advance, just like electronics in the world of depth finders, the old stuff gets cheaper, just like in cell phones, just like in VCRs. In fact, you can get a really good deal on VCRs right now because they're out of date. So anytime people are pushing the envelope for innovation, it's a good thing for all of us. And that's one of the things that's happened with Bonafide. There's a few things that were developed during this process that will actually spill over into the Native line, like these pull tabs that are much easier to use than any of the pull tabs that's ever been available on the Propel drive system. Coming on back to the cockpit is about the same size, just oriented a little bit different from the 127 because of the fact you had to put a pedal drive in it. The seat had to be different. So for the folks out there that say, why didn't they just make a retro system that dropped into the old SS127? There's a couple reasons you can't do that. One, you had to change the front hatch to put the pedal drive in the front of the boat. To put the pedal drive in the boat, you have to have the place to put the pedal drive, and you don't have that with a boat that wasn't designed for it in the beginning. You also have to accommodate different heights and different types of body types, and so therefore you have to have a seat that adjusts. And the Bonafide SS127 seat only has 3 basic adjustments in it. So again, there had to be some major changes. The biggest change that had to happen is you have to have a way to steer it. And so with the rudder system, you have to have the ability to put your rudder system integrated into the hull, and your place for lowering and raising your rudder also incorporated into the hull. So for all the folks out there that are wondering, why didn't they just make a pedal drive to drop back into the SS127? It's not only not practical, it's not possible, but if you want to be one of those enterprising entrepreneurs that decides to make a retro kit, send me one and I'll help you sell 1,000 of them. So anyway, we're going to head over that way to the new Canoe Unlimited. So I saw this boat in prototype form early on in the process with one of their pro staffers, and there's still some really cool features that new Canoe has brought to the table. They're still the one that came up with the taco clip handle. The clip is the handle for the paddle. It's still one of the neatest ways to store your paddle on a fishing kayak out there. Add a little bit more track to it. But what's really cool about this boat is they literally did make it unlimited. They put a track that runs the full length of the boat. The seat can be adjusted anywhere. You can basically set it up the way that you want to set it up. You've got access in the back. I really love this handle in the back. I think New Canoe in the past has struggled a little bit with, like, how do you carry this thing? Those rope handles are not that great. Other things where people made their own handles, but this little handle right here is clean, it's nice, it fits, and it makes great use of empty space. And I think New Canoe knocked it out of the park with that. I'm not exactly sure how much use you'll get out of these flush mount rod holders if you put your seat, you know, further towards the front, but I like the fact that they're there because flush mount rod holders also make a great place for nets. They make a great place for camera poles, and they also stiffen the hull up. A lot of people don't realize sometimes when you're doing design, you do design features to get the hull the rigidity that you need. But coming on forward, I just like the fact that this seat looks comfortable. It's super wide. It's not complicated. You're not going to have a lot of parts to break. It adjusts anywhere you want it. And I really like this pod concept. In fact, I like this pod concept so much that several years ago, I tried to get the manufacturers that I was working with at the time to create a system called tackle blocks. And I thought it was going to be the next big thing in fishing. I wanted a block in the front and a block in the back. That way it's modular. You can take it in and take it out of your boat. Well, the folks at New Canoe did it. I think this thing is clean. I think it's cool. It's going to allow you to rig your boat up, set up your systems, have everything on the boat, and then you can pop that pod out, or you can move it back and forth. It's really a cool design. Learn more about the Unlimited by checking out New Canoe's videos, checking out their website, and checking out some of the online reviews. I am going to try to get my hands on one of these boats so I can get it on the water for my initial overview, my on the water, day on the water, and then my rigging and outfitting suggestions. So guys, this thing is awesome. It's definitely something you should check out. Now, one category that I'm getting into pretty heavy is the inflatables. I've been experimenting with the NRS inflatables, and I'm really digging it. So walk with me over here. Let me show you something that caught my eye today. And I'll be honest with you, I walked into it thinking that boat is more of the stand-up paddleboard, surfer, flat brim bra crowd. Yeah, what's up, bra? And I didn't know that they were going to be able to make a fishing machine that is this bad to the bone. But I tried the boat out. It pedals remarkably well. The rudder system is responsive. It integrates really well into a inflatable boat. The thing packs down nicely, but the handle actually goes into an adhesive mount, and you've got really great control of the rudder. And this seat is way more comfortable than it looked when I first walked up to it. And I was also a little bit leery about the fact that, like, well, you don't have any seat adjustment. So how are you going to accommodate for the different heights? But I'm one of the taller people out there. I'm also built like a bullfrog, which means I'm 6'5" from the waist down and 5'10" from the waist up. So it fit me. So unless you're just abnormally large and should have been in the NBA, or you are in the NBA, I think that this boat's going to fit you. One of the guys out there told me one of the things that they do is put a cushion on the back if you're shorter to kind of scoot you forward a little bit. So if I was going to get Christy to paddle this boat, I probably would have to put a little high chair thing at the front to scoot her up so her legs could reach. But the pedal drive was clean, it was quiet, it was efficient. I love how they attached the paddle with the Velcro. Again, I like everything about this boat. It's self-bailing. So if you followed me for any period of time, you know I was a big fan of the Wilderness Systems Commander. I like that hybrid canoe kayak kind of feel. It's a throwback to my roots of growing up in Louisiana, paddling P-Rose. And I love this upper deck thing that they've done right here so that you can rig the back of the boat. It stiffens it up. It allows you to put this rod holder system in here. They've got their Kula system bucket. And I always like it when brands make their own stuff work together well, but it still works with like a Yeti bucket or a good old-fashioned Ace Hardware, Lowe's, or Home Depot bucket. If you've never fished with a bucket as part of your fishing, you skip some steps in your fishing evolution. You should probably add a bucket to your life. So anyway, this boat is bad to the bone. Now we're gonna head down that way and we're gonna check out some lures that really caught my attention. So come on. All right. So I gotta tell you, I got to try these things out at the On Water. In fact, I was trying them out so much that Christy was giving me the watch touch countdown. We gotta go. This big blade, you guys know I'm a big fan of Z-Man chatterbaits, but this thing, the one thing that I wish chatterbaits did more, and I've actually done some modifications in the past to get them to do it, is I wish they searched more. This thing searches like a big dog. I think they should have called it the big dog instead of the big blade, but this is for fishermen so that we can just read the package and know what it is. A man named it, and we just name stuff exactly what it is. So that's the big dog, and then this dude right here is the Mini Max. And basically this one is like 170% the size of a standard jackhammer, and this one's about 70% smaller, according to the rep that I talked to on the water. I can't wait to grab some of these for river fishing, and I can't wait to grab some of these for dirty water fishing to put off more vibration, more thump. The folks from Z-Man, when you thought, what more could you do with a freaking chatterbait, have done it again. I promise you I will end up a lot broker because of these things, but they're definitely gonna put big fish in the boat. All right, so you're gonna see a recurring theme with Z-Man, because just when you think, what else can you make out of Elastec and what more can you do with a freaking chatterbait, they've done it. So come on down, let me show you another thing that they made that I am a huge fan of. And again, there's no real diss to the folks that I'm skipping. These are just the things that really stuck out to me, because it's hard to stick out in the lure category. So come on down with me.
Well thought out jig by Fitzgerald. These guys are coming along making a lot of cool new stuff. Rose making a little
Here we go. So this is the Turbo Fatty Z. Now, I'm a big fan of the Fatty Z. My buddy Jody Queen turned me onto these things, but I also like to buzz plastics. I like to catch fish on top water. What better way to catch a fish on top water or to fish a swim bait that is virtually indestructible? They've put this thumper tail on it, this club foot, weird, rocker foot tail, but it's going to create bubbles, it's going to create aeration, it's going to create a lot of thump, but you can also fish it just like any other form of Elastec and just let it stand there, and I'm sure this thing is going to have a crazy action. I can't wait to try these things out. It's the Turbo Fatty Z. The Mag Fatty Z wasn't enough, guys. Well, guess what? They got the Turbo Fatty Z now. We're coming on down this way.
You saw how some of those reeds were 7, 8 feet tall. He was taking a 3/4 ounce sinker.
Now, I like fishing creature baits, and creature baits are anything that doesn't look like the exact thing that it is. Well, this thing looks exactly like what it is. It is a iguana baby, and that thing has got a hook system on it that is going to make it a weapon of bass destruction. It's basically got 2 hooks on the top, a little stinger hook back here in the back. They got that one.
60. Come on, where's your
They got that dude right there that looks like an actual bright green iguana. I'm a fan of their frogs. I'm a fan of their spiders. I'm a fan of them experimenting with trying stuff that we don't normally fish as bass fishermen. And I've watched a baby iguana try to skirt across the surface of the water and do the Jesus walk, only to become bass poop in about an hour and a half from that time. So these things are definitely going to work. I can't wait to add some to my arsenal.
Find you tomorrow. The owners.
All right, so it's going to look like I'm doing a Z-Man commercial here, but I don't have a relationship with Z-Man other than the fact that I appreciate they make good baits, and I buy all of mine at Fish USA. But this thing, come on down. Come on down this way. Oh, before we get to it, I'm going to show you a bait that I'm also really excited about throwing. I'm a big topwater fanatic. And the folks at Shimano have put this saltwater hard lure together. That is a topwater, okay? And you're gonna say to yourself, yeah, it's a saltwater topwater. No, it's not. I'm gonna throw this for bass, and I'm gonna throw it for striper, and I'm gonna throw it for muskie. And if you hear that knock, listen to that knock. To me, it's that mid-tier but it's weighted in the keel, which is going to make this thing stand up in the water like that. And that way when you walk it, it's going to have a wide walk. It's basically a topwater glide bait combination built into one lure. They call this thing the Colt Sniper Splash Walk. Cannot wait to try one of those dudes out. There's also another Shimano lure. I want to go back this way and find.
Yeah, no, go.
So when you ask yourself what more can you do with a swim bait, a segmented body swim bait, a fluted body swim bait, well, the folks at Shimano have done that by putting a piece of mesh. It almost looks like a piece of gauze, but they've molded it in to where that thing is just going to have the most ridiculous action, even with very little movement. And so this thing right here is called the Bounty Fish 158. I'm sure they're going to make it in a bunch of different sizes. I'm a big fan of salt bloody swim baits. I'm a big fan of slow crawling stuff. I can imagine put this thing on a chatterbait trailer. I can imagine putting it on a scrounger head and working it along the bottom, or Texas rigging it on a structure jig and just letting that thing do what it does and have a lot of movement with very little action, or a lot of action with very little movement. Coming on back down, I walked past this bait before, but I got to show you guys this thing. It's going to be the last bait in the series. Actually, we're gonna let Ken Duke show it off. Ken Duke, that guy's a legend right there. So basically the way that lure works is, I can't stop staring at it.
Yes, many people have collapsed.
So we'll do a lot closer look at that. I don't want to interrupt Ken's flow, but that lure has a little beveled flasher on the inside of it that's balanced on a ridge, and when you don't move it, it just quivers back and forth. That puts off a flash even when the bait's not moving. We'll go to the Shimano booth tomorrow and take a lot closer look at that. I'm gonna walk down here. We got one more thing I want to show you. So come on with it. All right, so again, I'm gonna finish with this lure right here, and I know you guys are gonna think this is some type of freaking Z-Man commercial, but this thing is called the Hercules Swimbait. Now, for years and years and years and years and years and years, I caught a metric ton of big fish, tarpon, striper, big redfish down in the jetties in Texas and in the flats on the wild eye shad that's made by Storm. Storm is one of the companies that's under the Rapala umbrella. And the thing about those baits is they were really nice. They're weighted in the center, had a nice hook, had the hook hanger on the bottom, had the line tie at the top. They had great action and they caught a lot of fish, but they tore up really easy and they were expensive. And so they tear up really easy and they're expensive. So what's cool about this Hercules bait is it's Elastec, just like everything else Z-Man makes. So this thing is literally virtually indestructible. Fish teeth marks don't show up in it. They can grab the tail and pull on it. And you know, you're almost never gonna break these things. They're indestructible. I'm sure they're gonna come in a lot of the fish catching colors. They're called the Hercules swim bait. They're probably gonna come in a bunch of different sizes. That's what it looks like right there. The tail is amazing. The balance is cool. Got to throw this out at the on water today. So anyway, that Hercules swim bait from Z-Man. Guys, look, there is a lot of cool stuff here. And it would take me 2 hours to show it all to you. I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough. Stay tuned for more exciting product reviews, overviews, and footage from ICAST 2021. I'm excited to be back here in front of my fishing family again, doing the head nods and the hugs and the what's ups and the hell yes and all that good stuff. And it really just goes to show you how much we take things for granted until we don't have them anymore. So do me a favor, put a lot of positivity out there. Do me a favor, leave a comment in the comment section below and tell me what you think about this video and if there's other stuff you want to see here at ICAST 2021. And thank you guys for tuning in.